vision.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave, and we're here for a little bit of a different video today because, as you know, if you're a fan of the channel, I finally announced that my Google AdSense account has been reactivated after 6 years. And I felt that the way that it happened and the story is kind of relevant and it could help other people. So I decided to make this video telling exactly how it happened, and maybe you guys can see and use this if you're having similar issues. Now, I was deactivated back in 2011 for invalid click activity when I was just a wee little blogger. I started a blog back in 2011 after I got hurt. I was medically retired from the Army. I needed an outlet, so I started blogging. I got a little bit of a following, very, very, very little. And I was like, oh, well, what's this AdSense thing? I didn't really know much about it. So I was like, I got it, and I started putting ads on the blog. And I didn't know what really the deal was, so I clicked on them, and my mom clicked on them, more importantly. I clicked on one to see if it worked, and it did, because it said you could. My mom would then later use the computer and click like crazy, not realizing she was really doing anything wrong. I got deactivated for invalid click activity because it was a violation that led to the result of 10 cents in ad revenue or something like that, of illegal ad revenue. It was 10 cents. It was a matter of 10 cents, but I didn't really care. It was not a big deal because who gave a shit? It was just AdSense. I had no aspirations to be a podcaster, to be a YouTuber, so it didn't really matter to me. Fast forward a couple of years, I become a podcaster. And then I subsequently become a YouTuber, and I never really cared about monetizing my videos. I didn't even think about going through the appeals process because I heard it was basically pointless. You know, I was hearing that over and over. Pointless, pointless, pointless. You're not getting it back, whatever, whatever. So I let it go, and I did not even try for the longest time. Fast forward to about a year ago, when the channel started doing a little bit better. I started realizing just how much potential I was missing out on. I mean, not a whole lot of money, but something, because, you know, I've come to rely on donations for a lot of things on this channel, and which sometimes I am not very comfortable with, to be completely honest. So I decided to try and start going and get my AdSense reactivated from the prodding of Tommy C, a good friend, and really Sal, my copious graphics guru, who really was pushing me to get it reactivated. And he found a great video by a guy from SygacityGamers. SygacityGamers. And this is a site. I will also link this video in the description box. He does a really good job of laying down the major ground rules of what to do and what not to do to get your account reactivated. His situation was a little bit different than mine. He really went out of his way to try to fuck Google AdSense, and he did. But he took responsibility, and he ended up getting it back. It took him about the same time as mine, like 6 years. And he was going every single week and putting in an appeal. I did the exact same thing for the past year. I started letting off on it a little bit recently, and which led to my ultimate success, and I'll tell you why. But his 3 fundamentals are very important when you're doing the appeals process. Now, the first thing, and I'm going to get back to his 3 rules in a second, but the first thing people are making mistakes on is where to even go to appeal. There are a couple different places. If you follow the regular way to, if you go to like the Google or you go through YouTube and you do your AdSense and it tells you how to appeal, that appeals process is a different one than the one that you actually need to use if you want to get results. The one that you'll get by going through YouTube, it will dead end you because it gives you a million ways to try to resolve it on your own, or a basically game over, you're screwed message. This one, however, oh, there we go. This one, however, this should be the first thing that you see when you go to this website. //support.google.com/AdSense /2707-037-037 $HL equals E something there. Yeah, you see what it is. This link will also be in the description box of this video. This should be the first thing that you see. If you do not see this as the first thing, if you see anything else, anything added, you are at the wrong site and you're not going to get any results. This is just from my experience. Okay. So using this is your basis. This is what you want to see. This is the exact link here. I'm going to blink it so you can see it. Blink, blink, blink. This is the exact link you want to use. Use this link. It's in the description box. Use it. This is where your best chance of getting results, because it takes you to this wonderful little appeal form that is very helpful. It asks you a lot of basic information. Now, I'm not going to go through the appeals form line by line. That video that I talked about here, the SygacityGamers guy, he does that, but I don't feel it's very necessary to do that because it's very self-explanatory. The things that you have to remember is this 3 fundamental rules. Do not threaten or make demands. It's very important. Do not, and this is the most important, do not make any excuses. None. For the first 4 or 5 times that I put in my appeal, I talked about how my mother was the one who was making the clicks on the video. It doesn't work. They don't care. It does not matter. What matters to them is you violated the invalid click activity. And let me tell you, it is paramount that you acknowledge that. And the third rule that he talks about in this video is be completely transparent. And if you did something wrong, if you know what you did, if you bought views or whatever the case may be, your best chance at getting that reactivated is by admitting to it. I mean, like you're being, like you're talking to the Pope. You are trying to get into heaven, because that's how transparent and that's how much responsibility you have to take to even have a chance at getting it reactivated. Okay, it's so important. With mine, it was rather minor, and I still had to just completely lay my guts out on the table to even get acknowledged. So that's what I started doing after the first few, where I was just getting the response where, no, we appreciate you trying to appeal, but ain't happening. So eventually I started to get frustrated, and I was like, man, this is really crappy. And there's a couple lines in the appeals form that are a little interesting. They ask for specific URLs where you laid your ads and everything. Okay, that is unbelievably important. I was making a mistake early on where I was putting the URL to the domain. Like I was with Blogger. I thought my blog was deleted, so I just put the URL to Blogger and didn't really think anything of it. That is a huge mistake. Most of the time, unless you manually delete it, and even in that case, it's not fully gone, you're going to be able to find the URL to your site. It takes a little bit of digging, but it's important, okay? It turned out my blog was not deleted. In fact, it was still active. So I went to it and I searched around a little bit in that application and found out that there was still a check mark on the advertisements, meaning it still looked like it was open. Even though it was deactivated, I had not turned it off on that site. So here's what led to me getting it reactivated. Or so I assume. I unclicked that button and completely took off the AdSense from that blog, okay? I put in the exact URL from my specific blog, not the blog account, nothing like that, from the specific blog, okay? And I put that in the appeals form. Lo and behold, and with a whole lot of apologizing, you should be sorry. You know, it's better if it's true, but you at least need to write it. You need to talk about how you've learned from your mistakes, especially mine was from the early days of when I just started all this stuff. So I actually had learned a lot of lessons, and they want to know how you have learned how to market yourself better, because they want to know that this is worth the investment. They want to know that you're going to make them money, because this is what this is about. It's about making money for yourself, but making money for Google and YouTube. You are a commercial site. That's what YouTube is. We are making our content, but that's just a device for them to be able to sell ad revenue. It's brilliant. It works. And even if you don't like it, it does give you a little bit of help, because you might not be making a whole lot of money from it, but you're making something from what from 10 years ago was just a hobby. You weren't making shit. So it's actually a really good service, but you have to be worth the investment. So talking about how you've learned how to communicate better and network and get yourself out there, use social media, whatever the case may be, that's important to reference while you're apologizing profusely and talking and taking full responsibility for your actions. It's so important to do that. People make that mistake. You cannot threaten, you cannot make excuses, and you have to be totally transparent. So I highly recommend that you check out the SygacityGamers video that I've referenced, and make sure that you use the correct appeals page with this URL that is here again, and it will be in the description box of this video. These are the important steps that you want to make. And once you get to that appeals process, remember, take responsibility. For some of you, I know that's harder than others, but take responsibility. It's so important. It is so important. Do not blame anybody else. You will not get it resolved. I promise you. I've only read like 10, 12 cases of people even getting their stuff overturned. It's hard. It's like Moby Dick hard. You're not finding it, you know? It's like Ninja Gaiden Black hard. It's difficult to let alone find. And to give you an idea of how hard Google makes things, and they do, to get the logo for my opening here, the little card that you saw, this one, I had to find an alternate fucking Google logo to use, because when you try to download a transparent logo, especially for Google AdSense, they're all blocked. They're all blocked. They make it impossible to do any research. It's so hard. And give up hope now of ever talking to somebody on the phone. It's not happening. But what I did find out is that the invalid click activity appeals processes does go to humans. They do read this, and it's important that you appeal to that. That's who you're talking to. Remember, this isn't just a robot. Don't think that, oh, a robot's going to see it and he's going to do what he's going to do. No, you have to show that you are being repentant and that you've learned from your mistakes. If you do that, you will get your account back. I got mine back, and I thought there was no chance of it happening. Even though it was so stupid, even though it seemed so ridiculous to me, it was over 10 cents, whatever. It's still, I did not think it was happening. I had given up hope on it, and lo and behold, yesterday it happened. I have it back. It's amazing, and I'm not going to make another mistake with it. I promise you that. So hopefully this video is helpful. I hope that you guys got a little bit out of it, and maybe even just enjoyed me. And if you did, make sure you check out the rest of the channel. We do wrestling, we do sports, we do video games, we do a lot of things. So make sure you check out the rest of the channel as well. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helps somebody. My God, because I only found one other video that was remotely helpful. And again, that was from this guy at SygacityGamers. So hopefully you guys will get a little bit of help from this and pass it on. Show people that you can get your stuff reactivated, reinstalled, you know, not reinstalled, you know what I mean, reinitiated, whatever. You can do it. It can happen. You just got to work a little bit. You got to be able to take responsibility for your actions. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you guys got some specific examples of what not to do and how to make sure that you go about it properly. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. As always, like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't have talent, have talented friends. We'll see you next time. Keep it copious. Peace.